How you doing, y'all? Welcome to Confidence. So here's the deal. I have no questions planned for you guys this week. Didn't look anything up. I'm going to speak all of this shit right from the heart, and we're going to see where we end up. Because each week I feel like I've been unraveling new parts of me that, to me, are just deep. It's truly amazing the growth that I'm having when it comes to like love and being ready for love and receiving love. You know, this is what I realized about love in general. Love is the scariest motherfucking thing in the world. It's so scary. To give your heart to somebody, to give your expectation to somebody, and not know what is going to really happen, right? Are they going to support you? Are they going to show up for you? Are they going to break your heart? Are they going to abandon you? And I think for a lot of us, that's the hardest part, right? Is like, it really all comes down to fear of abandonment. It all comes down, like, when you really look at it, is that we're all scared. We're all scared of somebody not showing up for us. We're scared of giving ourselves to somebody and feeling like we're not going to be reciprocated. And, you know, it's crazy because you also feel like, for a lot of people, it's like, you know, we typically think of like more of like an anxious person that is scared of abandonment, right? And that's why they're clinging or whatever. But to be honest, you know what I've realized is that like avoidance, fear, abandonment, I think deeper than an anxious person does. And you probably have both, because to me, again, it's both. I really truly feel with like the work that I've done with people, it's like I've realized that anxious and avoidant, you're both. You really are. Right? Because you're going to be anxious towards the people that are running away or making you feel like you're unworthy or not good enough. Or you're going to be avoidant to the people that show up and actually give you that genuine sense of love. It's point blank. It's simple as that. Now, do I feel like people lean towards one direction? Definitely. For instance, I'll take myself. And the reason I'm bringing all this up, and the reason I'm bringing up that love in itself is so fucking scary, is like, as I've been doing this reflection on myself in my life, I have realized how being an avoidant, it's crazy because I've completely constructed a life in which I'm trying to control the environment. I'm trying to control whether or not somebody is going to abandon me, just like an anxious person does, right? Because again, what is it? An anxious person, how do they try to control? They try to control through, foregoing their needs and hoping that if they compromise themselves, that somebody will end up loving them. Whereas like an avoidant person, what you really do is you just don't even get yourself in the ecosystem of love. You completely remove yourself from the chance of even getting hurt at all. That's why I said I feel like avoidants are even harder. Because the truth is like you are so disconnected from what real love is because you cannot handle the gray area. You cannot handle somebody not loving you to the point that you have completely written it off, to the point that you have completely abandoned yourself. Everybody abandons themselves in this way, right? Again, it just looks different for different people. Some people abandon themselves and they cling on and they overthink and they feel guilty and they think everything is their fault and they can't get away from partners that treat them like shit. And then there's the avoidant people who like, and I speak to myself as like, you just run away at every little instance of potential fear. And you don't even recognize it in the moment because you think you're doing all the right things. Like my whole life, it's like, I didn't realize how much I am afraid of love. I am frightened. I am frightened by the idea that somebody could take advantage of me. And I think that is why you create all these strategies to run or to have one foot out or to always have other options or to never give somebody commitment. Because if I never actually commit myself to somebody, I never have to deal with the expectation of them hurting me. That's the truth behind it. The truth is like, I don't try. I don't show up. I'm not actually vulnerable because I'm scared of what the outcome could be. And when I really think about it deeply and I get into my own heart and my feelings about this, I think I always told you guys, like my biggest fear in love is that even the people that say that they love me, like won't show up for me. And if you really think about that, what is that statement? That's fear of abandonment. deep, big time, right? I am so scared of abandonment that, yeah, I will not let people close to me. I will not give somebody an opportunity to hurt me. And what could that look like? Who are the people that I'm going to date, right? If I'm an avoidant, right, I'm so scared of fucking abandonment and I'm not letting anybody in because I'm not being vulnerable. Who do you think's the only person I'm going to let in? An anxious person, right? Because the only way that somebody's going to be allowed into my ecosystem is if they're showing up and they're showing up hard. Because I won't trust it if you don't, right? Think about all the barriers that I have around myself to love, right? And this is a big deal, right? You really got to be true to your word, and that's fair. But I have all these other roadblocks or things to love, like it's fucking crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like the littlest things can scare me and make me want to run away. You know, for a lot of people, we talk about this. I think I posted a video about how some people, like if somebody doesn't answer you in a quick enough amount of time, that you probably would just ghost them because you feel like you're not getting enough effort. But in reality, it's like people are human. They do things. It's not necessarily like they don't give a fuck about you, but you put up all these fucking walls because you don't even want to have the chance, just the fucking slight chance that somebody could take advantage of you. But here's the thing. And it's funny because now I feel like I'm coaching a lot more avoidance. You know, yes, you might keep everybody at bay. And yes, you might not be getting hurt. And this is what I'm realizing about my own life. I mean, in so many different ways, in so many different areas. I have built an environment around me that is completely controlled. And so what I mean by that is like routine oriented, right? I feel uncomfortable when I'm out of my routine. I'm in a routine because it's very controlled. It's all about control. Like when you're an avoidant person, all you're trying to do is avoid disappointment. So what you do is you control your entire environment to not be disappointed. So you don't put yourself in situations that are uncomfortable. This is why you're so routine oriented and rigid and rudimentary and rigid. Fuck. Jesus Christ. You know what I was thinking about? You know, it was fucking disgusting that I was thinking about. As I was saying that, I was like, man, this would be a good clip. So like I tried to get the words out perfect, but look at that. I tried to control the words that I was going to say because I'm thinking about the outcome. I'm sick of doing that. I just want to be me. And this is what I guess I'm trying to say is that you control your environment. Like I'm so rigid, you know what I'm saying? I go to the gym, I go to the coffee shop. I don't do anything outside of my rigid ass fucking routine because all it does is keep me safe. One thing I've been really working on deeply is, you know, I'm like, I want to say at heart an extroverted person. Like I really love people. I love interacting with people. I love talking to people. You know what I'm saying? You get me in some of those like party settings. Like, yo, I could be the life of the party potentially. Sometimes I got to take a little bit of ecstasy. You know, trust me. Here's the thing about Molly that I love. And here's the thing. I haven't done a lot of drugs in a really long time. I used to do a lot more. And not like that. Not like I was sitting there like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like every weekend. No, not that. I'm talking about like once in a blue moon, you know, we go out, pop a few pills of ecstasy, whatever, having a good time. But the reason I bring this up is when I'm in that environment, when I'm in an environment where I'm around a bunch of people and I'm on ecstasy, to me, that, and it's going to sound fucking weird, but that is who I am. That is me in my natural, pure, Chris state. I'm like a fucking lion. I'm a lion. I just feel happy, elated. I am not scared to talk to anybody. I'm not scared to just be myself. I piss people off. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to the bartender. I'm talking to this person. I'm talking to that person. Some people love it. I'm an enigma. You know what I mean? They're vibing. The energy is high. Of course, I meet people that are like, oh, this is too much for me, right? But maybe more the rigid person, right? The people that usually get mad at me are the ones that are really sober. And I'm like, whoa, you need to relax. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy yourself. Relax. But it's funny because if I can take that Chris and look at Chris right now, bro, I would tell Chris the same thing. I'd be like, yo, bro, relax, enjoy, be in the gray area, show up, Be yourself. Be vulnerable. Stop protecting yourself. You can't control the environment. You can't control everything in your life, because what ends up happening is you control yourself so much, you turn into a ball. You put yourself in this tiny little box, and you feel restricted and constricted because you know you want more. That's what's funny about most avoidance, is that you talk to them deeply and you recognize that they want love. They want that. They want to be themselves. They want to show up and just be freely who they are, but they can't, because they've locked themselves in a box of protection, of routines and rigidness and control, because all they're trying so bad to do is they put themselves in this box because they don't want to get hurt, but ultimately you're still in a box, right? Because what you're trying to do is control an environment. And what you end up doing is you end up controlling something that you can't control, but then it ultimately controls you, right? Think about that. It's like Bubble Boy. You guys ever seen the movie? It's old. But you know, the whole thing is like, he's a germaphobe, right? And he doesn't want to touch anything, so he lives in a bubble. But then he realizes, like, what's the point of not touching germs if I can't do anything anyways, right? Because you're restricting the shit out of yourself. An avoidant person is the same thing. Right? I'm the same way as that. I've restricted myself so hard in so many areas that my life has turned into a box. And I don't want to live like that anymore, because it restricts you from love. It does. It restricts you from self-love, and it also restricts you from love with another. Because here's the thing, is like, you have this really hard exterior, right? And yes, maybe nobody can get in, and maybe you're protecting yourself and you can't get hurt, but you need softness. You need softness to be into a relationship. You're not going to be able to get into something real, and fuck even just the idea of a relationship, even for yourself. You have to allow that ooey gooey vulnerable part out. You know, you got to take that risk. You got to send that text message. You got to show love. You know what's crazy as fuck? So, you know, I've been talking to this girl, and honestly, this is going to sound weird, but the girl I've been talking to is kind of like an experiment. And not that I don't like her a lot, I really do, but working with my coach and dating her at the same time, bro, I'm getting triggered left and right. It's uncomfortable almost to be in a relationship as an avoidant, because again, it's the box. Everything is hitting up against your protection walls, your walls. So, recent situation, right? And this is, I'm going to be very vulnerable about a couple things. Me and the girl, when we had gotten back together, we never had the conversation of whether or not anything happened in between when we were broken up. So you know how, like, I told you guys, I literally told this girl to her face, I don't want to be with you. I know you're not my person. Done. I end it. 2 weeks later or so, I come back to her and I show up at her house and I'm like, yo, like, I just ran away, point blank. Like, I know that there's more here for me. I don't know what it is, but I know that what I did in that moment, I was running. And I told her, I still don't know if I'm in love, but I just, my body is telling me that I should be here right now, and I'm here. So fast forward, I mean, honestly, things have really been great. They've always been peaceful. They've always been, again, to be honest, she's very secure. She doesn't give me any reason to feel unsafe at all. And that's what's funny as fuck. I told her the other day, I was like, the reason I cannot leave you is because you are so fucking loving. Like, you don't give me anything to leave you for. Like, some partners, you know what I'm saying? They'll gaslight you. They'll make you feel like shit. They treat you not right, or they just don't show up for you, or the friendship sucks, or there's no chemistry. There's no good energy. With her, it's like I'm so erratic. You know what I'm saying? I'm so, like, all over the place, and it's not all me, right? She's anxious, but she's stable. You know, she hears me out when I have these moments. She hears my truth. She doesn't run away from me either. She's still. She stays still. And this is what building security is about, is she's so comfortable with the gray area. Maybe she's definitely anxious at times, and she has her own work that she needs to do, and we've been working on that. She told me her truth the other day for the first time, usually what she needs to do, and I'm sure a lot of girls, you could relate to this, but sometimes she really struggles to tell me how she feels in the moment and what she usually does is she goes home and she like ruminates on it a little bit. And sometimes what she'll do, she'll write down in her notes a bunch of things that she wanted to say to me. And then she'll reach back out to me and then start telling me the things that she wrote down. It's very hard for her to speak from the heart. And sometimes she just really takes it and it all builds up. So that's her work. But most recently, we've been getting what's nice about me working on myself is it helps my relationship in general because I'm sharing all this stuff with her. I tell her all the time, I'm like, this is so fucking bullshit. You get to date me. You get free 5-6 months of coaching. It's fucking bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, you're so lucky to be here. My avoidant ass. My cocky self. But with that being said, she's getting better at speaking her truth up to me. But the other day, she told me her truth very honestly. Oh, so speaking of which, so I was building up to this. So anyways, we have been really good. Things have been fine. We're having a moment where this week has been interesting. So I got to set the stage for you guys because there's a lot going on. This week, it's July 4th, right? When you guys listen to it, it'll be past this, but what will be really cool is there's a lot of things that are happening. So I was supposed to go home for July 4th. So I was supposed to take a flight to New York and be away for the week. With that, I was already anxious as it was because I don't like getting out of my routine. We talked about the control. I don't like to fucking travel. I don't like to do anything because I feel like I'm going to die. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, the thought of going on a plane, getting out of my routine, not being at my gym, not eating, not knowing where I'm going to be exactly, it freaks me out, right? Because that's what it is. It's this fear, right? It keeps me in a box. So whatever, I'm working on letting go of control, living in the gray area more, right? So I was like, fuck it. Like, let me go see my family. I haven't seen them. There's no really, let me just send it, right? Even though it feels a little uncomfortable. And part of that, this girl that I'm talking to this week, she has a boat party with her work. She has her friend invited her, they're going to the club and they're going to get a table. She did invite me to this, and this was supposed to be on Thursday. And then she has a 4th of July party on Friday. And I'm going to get to why this is important in a second. So she invited me to both of those two things besides the boat thing, which was with her work. So I couldn't go. But long story short, she has these, events during the week. And then I was going to go see my family. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. So now part of me over the weekend, right? But going into this, I started to get some tension and anxiety, right? I'm getting tension and anxiety about this girl going to these events. And again, we talk about this all the time. Anything that triggers you, it is not about that person, it is about something about yourself. Point blank. I hope we are on that page already, by the way. So I'm like sitting with it. I'm like, why do I feel this tension to her doing these things? Because the reactionary self, right, would be more like, oh, she's going and partying, blah, blah, blah. Like, most people would probably freak the fuck out by that because what? We want to control, right? We are afraid of what? And this is the root that we need to get to. The underlying root feeling that I was having was like, man, maybe this is about me not feeling like I'm enough. Because why would I care that she goes and does these things if I trusted her, which I do trust her? Why does it bother me? It bothers me because of what? What we're talking about at the beginning. Fear of abandonment, right? Fear of not being good enough. And it's weird because I'm a very confident person and I know that like I'm worthy, you know what I'm saying? And I picked a partner that has shown me, trust me, she has shown me that she is in and that she is down. But that is how deep that fear is. And lodge within me, that I still get those moments and I still feel that when my partner goes and does these things. Now, it's a risk for me to just say no to going and doing my own thing. So, you know what? So what ends up happening is my family, my brother backs out on this trip. And then my mom was like, Chris, I don't know if you should really come. Like, there's nothing really going on here. So I was like, all right, cool. I just had taken off of work already. And I'm like, fuck. Now I have 4 days off and I guess I'll stay here and I'll do these things with her. But something hit me and I was like, why? Like, I don't know. Like, maybe I just don't want to be here during that time. And something hit me because like, you know what I started to feel this earlier this week was like, part of me feels like running away. Part of me feels like the friends that I have here right now, I'm just not as connected to anymore. And to be honest, I'm going to keep it real with you guys. Like, yeah, I've been struggling in that department. Like, I don't feel like I have this like close community of people that I feel really connected to. And sometimes it's really hard for me because I want that. I want to be around people that are interested in the things that I'm interested in and doing a lot of the things that I'm doing the work that I'm doing, and are motivated and successful, but also can have a good time too. And to be honest, I just feel like a lot of the people that I have in my life right now and just in this moment, I don't feel connected to like that. So right now I've been really recluse. I've been really on my own. I've been, just to be real, like I feel like I've been a little lonely. And not in like, in the sense of like, I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying. I'm so lonely. It's just like, I know that I want this sort of companionship and this life for myself. Like if I'm being real as fuck with you, this is what it is. I just know that like when I have a future vision for my life, this is really what it comes down to. Like I want a strong friendship circle. It doesn't need to be a lot of people, but people, like I said, that are like intelligent, successful, motivated, like going to coffee shops, taking care of business, going to gym, taking care of themselves, like focus on their development, like focused on depth and not just like ego bullshit, not shallow material things, but like just like I could have deep talks with, but I could still go do fun things with, go to a house music show, go to the club, do something fun, go get a drink, even though I don't really do that much. And then I think I want, to be honest, like I'm ready to find my person. I'm ready to be in love. Like I'm ready to like have somebody in my corner that I view in that way and that also is about those things and is involved in those things, right? Like really working on themselves, like developing herself, like taking care of business, a go-getter, like a girl with depth. Like I want all of that. Like when I look at my future life, like that's all I care about. And then like a successful business, whatever. But again, to me, the work is secondary. But what I feel right now in my life is that, yeah, I feel a little disconnected from, having that. And not to say that this girl isn't that, because I think what has happened is that I've realized that I've put up kind of a barrier to the idea that she can be that. Now, are there things that I see right now that I'm like unsure about? Yes. And so that is kind of where I've been, right? And this is why it's been a little tricky for me in this relationship. Because part of me is like, I really enjoy spending time with this person. I feel safe. I feel secure. I feel like our friendship is amazing. There's aspects of the relationship where sometimes I don't feel fully seen. And I said this to her face this week, by the way. And I'm going to tell you a bigger conversation that happened, which was, again, all these things are triggering me all at once. But, I've been having these inner feelings about that. And I was like, why? Like, here's the thing. I don't need to like run away and break up with this person. I don't need to do that. Because the truth is that I don't really know. I don't really know if this person is that person for me, but I'm willing to see it out. Because you know what? When I ask myself how I feel about this person, I do feel safe. I do feel secure. I do feel like I really enjoy being with this person. And it really does feel like a great partnership. And there are moments where I recognize that some of my values where I say I'm not aligned, a lot of it is protecting myself from being vulnerable with her. I truly see it now. But again, there's another aspect of me that there's also a deeper part of me that's also telling me, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know why, but I feel like what the person that I am, sometimes I don't feel naturally fully inspired. And I think that's also the reason I feel that way is because sometimes I truly believe like her anxiousness, she sometimes doesn't step up and tell me her truth. I think sometimes she goes along with what I want too much, honestly. And I think because of that, it could feel like I'm not growing. It could feel like there's not that healthy challenge, which we've talked about in the past. So again, complex situation, but I also recognize here's the advice, right? When you're in a situation like this where it's complicated, you don't know, what you want from a situation. You just got to be fully honest about that. And that's what I'm realizing. Just be vulnerable about how you feel in the moment at all times. Because today I could feel like I'm not in it, but tomorrow I can. And as long as I'm speaking from my truth, that is all that matters. That is all that matters. So anyways, I'm having all of these complicated feelings underneath, right? And so this week is coming up. So I was like, you know what? I was like, maybe it's time for me to do something different. Maybe it's time for me to just like try something new, see a new area, see a new place. Maybe I'll move. Fuck it. Maybe I'll go somewhere different and just completely just say fuck it. So I looked up some areas in California. There was a gym that I went to back in the day, and I really liked it a lot over in Southern California. I'm not going to tell you which one. And you know what? I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go take a solo trip. I don't want to go to these club events that this girl wants to go to. And I'm just going to go drive out there, read a book. There's a book my coach recommended that I'm going to read. And I'm just going to take a solo journey. Go to the gym, go to coffee shops, do things that Chris likes to do. Maybe I will go out for a little bit by myself. Who knows? But I wanted to challenge myself and like get myself out of my bubble and just kind of do a little bit of a reset. So anyways, I go to her house, right? And I go over there and I made this reflection, right? Part of me was creating distance in the relationship already because I thought to myself that maybe she wasn't the one. And I was like, maybe I was thinking about maybe ending it. But then I was like, no, that's not what it is. I just need to be honest about what I'm feeling right here because I do have good things that I like in this relationship. So I go over there, we're having a good time. It's funny, my mood changed. I hung out with her and I was perfectly content being around her. And we're like fighting in like the bathroom. She makes like a comment about like, I don't know, she said she felt weird. I don't know, she thought she had a UTI again or some weird shit. And then I was like, did you fuck somebody else? She's like, no. I was like, what? I was like, no, you did, didn't you? I could tell her energy change, her shift. I was like, oh, fuck. So she was like, no. She's like, I was intimate with somebody when we weren't together. And I was like, So we sat down and before we sat down, I was like, just be honest. I was like, I fucked somebody else too. I told her to her face. I was like, yeah, I slept with somebody too. Long story short, she sits me down on the couch and she was just like, so I'd gone out and, I was sad. I blacked out. I met up with my situationship. He was there. They didn't like text or anything. Like he was just there, went back to his place. They didn't fully go through with it apparently, but obviously she was there and things kind of happened. She said she called an Uber, felt like shit, after. And yeah, that was really hard for me to hear. I'm going to be real with you. Like it was really triggering because we already had a conversation about like when we were like together before I broke up with her and told her that I didn't want to be with her. Like she was like, oh, I would never go back to anything like that. I would never do anything like that again, blah, blah, blah. And she slept with him because she has done that each time that she had gotten over a previous guy. So she had gone back to her situationship each time that she's broken up with somebody, which I was telling her is her pattern. Then she's like, I'm not like that. I'm not like that. And then, yeah, so she was holding on to that. And because we never had brought it up to each other, because I guess I was holding on to something and she was holding on to it, we never actually brought up like, hey, did you sleep with other people? When we got back together, we just kind of rolled with it. And now this is the hard part, right? Like this is the thing, as an avoidant person, what is that? Like it triggered the fuck out of me. Like, right. It's like, I'm like, fuck, like, and I got to the root of it in the moment because I'm getting so much better at feeling my feelings. And I felt like I realized that it wasn't like, and I was being short with her and I was definitely like, I felt some type of way. And I told her, I was like, yo, you made it seem like you weren't like that. And you did this. Like, I'm not sure how I can do this. I was like, let's take this relationship day by day. Like, I don't know if I'm in this anymore, kind of energy. But when I kept sitting with it, I realized that the reason that it was so triggering to me is because, again, it's just that feeling of me feeling like I'm not enough. And it's me feeling like will be abandoned, or that I'm not as worthy for some reason. But like, I know when I hear the sincerity in her voice and I understand, and it's human, because here's the thing too. It's like, I slept with some other girl afterwards and I know it didn't mean anything to me. And I know that it was from a place of like, just bullshit. It was bullshit, like the girl randomly just hit me up and was like, oh, like, and I was like, come over right now. And she was like, yeah. Like, I didn't slide up on her. She like slid up on me. And within an hour, you know what I mean, of seeing each other, it's on. And obviously that's hurtful to her too. But the truth is like, we weren't together. And the reality is I did tell her to her face that, no, it's not that I don't want a relationship. Like, you are not my person. And yeah, it's like, if I'm being honest and real with myself, like, we're fucking human, right? It's like, we get vulnerable, we make mistakes, we do things that, it sucks. Like, I don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear that you were even close to even touching somebody else. Of course not. But it's also like, I did the same thing, and I realized that it was validation, it was bullshit. And I know that she felt that way too. I could see it in her voice, I could see it in her energy. When someone's being real. Because she has done nothing but want to be with me in this entire time. That's the truth. And I guess to my point about the avoidant thing and like why love is so scary and you don't want to get hurt, but like, isn't it crazy? Because I was sitting with this as well, and I was like, me pushing this person away, it's like, not that I like it happened because of that, but like, that's the result of, as an avoidant person, when you create distance with somebody enough, like, they are going to hurt you. Like, there is going to be some sort of abandonment if you keep them at a distance forever. It's just the truth. And I recognize that as an avoidant because, trust me, I've done that numerous times to so many girls in my past. That's why I knew, like, when she told me all that, it's like, I've lived this story so many times with so many different girls where, like, I break up with them, I run away from them, and they sometimes they struggle to cope. And I get it, because I was struggling to cope with the relationship ending myself. And again, the reactionary part of me, the part of me that wants to protect me and protect my ego and protect myself, is saying, fuck this girl. Why would you even want to be with somebody that could even think about doing that? Even though I did the same thing. And I even told her to her face that you weren't my person. She's in shock. And I guess my point is like, I could feel my growth of like realizing that it's a fear that I have about myself, that I then can't handle some of these things. I can't hear some of those things. I react. I create distance. I run away. And you know what's crazy about this whole situation and the reason I'm bringing up, her leaving, is because after we have this deep conversation about her and this guy and me and the girl, and now everything is in the open, it brought up even deeper things that came up, which was like, damn, like, I feel weird about you going to these events now. Like, how do I know you're not going to fucking get drunk and do that shit again? But the difference is that she never did that shit to me ever when I had given her my energy. That's the truth, is that, and honestly, I truly believe this. Like, for most women, like, if you give them safety and they are showing you that they are willing to give you safety, and they are telling you that, and they are showing you that, like, believe them. Believe them. Because that's something as an avoidant guy I cannot do, and I struggle with all the time. Is that it's hard for me to believe that when somebody tells me that they love me or that they're going to show up for me, that they're going to do it. And that's my own inner shit, right? It has nothing to do with her. That's what I'm trying to say. Her going to these events this week, it has nothing to do with her not being a great person or her not being a great partner. It has everything to do with my own internal fear of not being enough or being abandoned. And you know what's crazy is like I started to do some inner work on, why I felt triggered because here's the thing too. She's invited me to these events and I almost told her that I don't want to go. And I created this trip to leave to go and do my own thing. And I started to get deeper into this as well and again, I'm just going to be really vulnerable with you guys. When I started to get to the why around why I'm such a recluse, aka why I like distance myself from so many people, and the other why of like, why don't I want to go to some of these events with her? Part of the reason that I don't really even want to go and participate in these things with her is because I don't want to feel like a tag along. Like, I don't want to feel like, I don't know, like she has like these friends in this community that I wish I had for myself and I'm joining in on that. And it's like, sometimes I don't want to feel like, I don't know, like, because think about that. That's very vulnerable in a way. It's vulnerable for me to show up to her things with her friends and be her man. And, because honestly, think about that. This is the avoidant part of me, which is like, I don't want to show up and, be that for you and almost feel like I don't have anything to offer you because I've been so disconnected from my own friendships and my own community. It almost feels like I feel boring compared to her and her life. Even though I know when I write it down in my journal, I'm like, the truth is like, I feel that way about myself. There's nothing to do with her love for me. It has nothing to do with how she views me. I know she wants me there because she wants me there. I really do know that. But part of me is afraid. I'm afraid that if I allow myself to be more vulnerable, to show up to her friends and her events, that I'm going to lose myself, that I'm going to feel unworthy or not chosen. Because to be honest, you want to know the real truth is that I have some like leftover trauma because I dated the girl from the club, like when I was 25, this bottle girl. And I remember going to those events with her and feeling like I wasn't connected with them. And I felt like an outcast. I didn't feel like I belonged there. And then there was one time I remember vividly, we were all sitting in a Jeep, right? Me, this girl that I was talking to, and another person, and then two people in the front. And I swear to God, like, I have never really told this story. I have a lot of shame around this. But we're parked outside near the clubs, and there was like this after party or something that she got invited to. And they're sitting in the car, and the girl in the front was like, yo, we got invited to this thing. Like, they don't want guys coming to this event. It's like me, I'm like the only guy in the car with like a bunch of girls and her. And she turns around and just kind of like looks at me like, all right, see you later. And I was like, damn, like, it's really like that, I got out of the car and I fucking went home. And that's the thing is like, I feel like part of me being an avoidant, and I think for a lot of men that what a lot of women don't realize is like, you don't want to give too much of yourself to a woman because you don't want to feel exposed. You're afraid that if you give yourself so much to this person that eventually she'll just abandon you. And again, that's my own inner fears, right? Because the difference between that girl and this girl right now is that this girl has invited me to all these things. She wants me around. She wants me there. And I could feel the energy. It's so much different. It's so much more secure. It feels way different. I know she's not like that. But it's that inner fear of vulnerability that I don't want to give myself too much to her because I almost don't feel enough about myself. Like, I'm like, I want to cultivate my own community. I want you to come around to my things. And like, I have friends and I have things that I can invite her to. It's not like I'm like completely, absent from those things, but I've distanced myself from a lot of friendships and even like my audience online, right? Like when I think about it, if you look at my page over the last like few months, I haven't been posting as much. And maybe that's a good thing because I'm learning to drop the worthiness that I've put into that. But, I've kind of become recluse. I've kind of become into myself. And I think a lot of that is because, maybe I stopped chasing the validation. But now I think the second part, after stopping chasing the validation, right? So you cut off where you're showing up as a mask. We're talking about that. The second part is like now it's about showing up, but as your real self. And that part is scary, right? Having an honest dialogue with my audience where I'm completely vulnerable in myself, showing up, showing my full body, showing my hair when it's messy, telling stories that are real and vulnerable to me, sharing the things I'm sharing with you right now. No script, just from the heart, just from honest, right, who I am, what's going on, and trusting that what is meant for me will be. And that is the whole thing about being an avoidant is learning to live a life where you stop trying to fucking control everything. The truth is if this girl goes to one of these events and meets somebody else and fucks me over or something, like that's her choice. I can't control that. I can't force her to not do that. But also too, like the way that I try to control it as an avoidant is what? Avoid it. Right? I won't go with you. All right, you go do your thing. I'm going to go do mine. I keep that distance between us because it feels safer. If I don't actually commit myself to you, then we'll be good. If I don't actually show up to those events with you and then feel like I'm super involved into your life, maybe I'll feel enough distance where it'll be safer. Now, I will say the problem that I've been having, right, the dilemma that I've been facing, the complexity of it is this. Part of me doesn't want to be in that lifestyle where I'm doing all those things. Now, can I go to the club and have a good time? Yes. And honestly, the house party and going to the club is really, in the grand scheme of things, it would be fun. And to be honest, I know I would have a good time. And this is where I need to allow myself to stop controlling everything. And just say, fuck it, go have a good time. Go be with her friends. If she fucks you over, she doesn't want to be with you, it has nothing to do with me showing up to those events. But do you see how being an avoidant and that fear of abandonment keeps you from so many things in your life? For me, taking this solo trip by myself, it's scary as fuck. But weirdly enough, it's also safe. It's also safe because I'm going to be by myself, which is what I am all the time. Probably the unsafe thing for me to do, honestly, would to be around people and to show up. And honestly, I think that's what I need to make this trip about. Is allowing myself to talk to strangers, is allowing myself to meet new people, build that community. The next step for me, right? I'm talking about how like my friendships don't feel fulfilling in things. It's up to me to change that. It's up to me to elevate myself and get uncomfortable and stop trying to control and hit people up and hit up people that I feel like are interesting. There's a guy at the gym that I wanted to chill with. There's a guy at my softball team that I thought would be interesting to chill with. And I got to start doing these things and putting myself in situations to get triggered and allow myself to get out of this fucking box. And just trust that if I'm just the vulnerable Chris, and yes, are some people going to disappoint me? Sure, but that's part of it. That's part of vulnerability. That's part of love. Is you got to understand, yes, there's going to be times where you share your full self, you tell somebody you love them, you show up for somebody, and guess what? They don't do it in return. That's part of the cost. That's part of the cost of loving somebody fully. But I know that if I do show up that way and I expand myself and I allow myself to do these things and I stop fearing the way that people are going to judge me, because I think that's the other reason too, I feel like such a recluse, is that I feel like I'm so different than everybody, but I never end up giving people a chance. Is it really because I'm so different, or is it because I'm hiding my true self? It's because I'm afraid to shine bright in a room where people might want to dim that. Right? Put myself in situations, social situations that feel anxious or a lot because I'm scared of the blowback. You guys know that I don't watch TikTok at all because, to be honest, it triggers the fuck out of me. Because it makes me feel like I'm not enough because I'm not showing up that way and vulnerable online. So when I see somebody else posting, right? Or posting a lot, it makes me feel lack in myself. But then what do? Instead of allowing myself to be in that and show up and try, what I do is I avoid it. I stopped watching TikTok. I stopped watching Reels. I stopped going to parties. I stopped going to do things with friends because I don't want to feel triggered, because I don't want to feel unsafe. I want to have the safety of my routine, the coffee shop, the gym, the fucking rigidness of my entire life, because I feel like I want to control everything. But I'm not allowing my full self to come out. Yes, it's a very scary world out there sometimes. And it's scary to have somebody potentially rip your heart out and fucking stomp on it. But you cannot live a full life if you don't take the risk. If you don't take the risk to put yourselves in situations where you're going to be uncomfortable. That's the thing, is that you have to place yourself in situations that are going to make you uncomfortable, because it's the only way you're going to grow. It's the only way that you're going to expand and find the things that are genuine to you. I know what I want. I know I want this girl that's high powered. We have this organic chemistry and it's just good vibes, good times. And it's funny because I do have a girl like that, but I haven't, and I'm almost scared of it. I'm scared of it. I'm scared of committing. I'm scared of giving her my all. I'm scared of showing up to her and her friends. I'm scared of committing. I'm scared of telling her that I'm only seeing her. True. And part of me, again, maybe I don't know if she's my full thing or not, but does anybody ever know? Anybody that you're dating, like, do you love every single fucking little aspect about them, nothing else? It's like, as an avoidant, you build up, again, a lot of these walls. When in reality, it's like, I got to lean into the things that do feel good to me. I got to lean in and understand my motivations behind the reasons I'm keeping myself so trapped. I'm done playing it safe. I'm done playing small. So I guess to get to the summary of this giant story, right? Where am I at this week? This girl, you know what? You know what I told her? I said, go have fun. Go do those things. I want you to have fun. And I trust in myself that if she was to do something, it's not a reflection of me. It's not a reflection of how good enough I am. My worthiness comes from me, not from her. It comes from me living a full life that I want to live. But it also, here's the thing too. It's like, I don't know. I could cancel this trip and go with her to these things if I want to. If I change my mind, I change my mind and I do it. Because guess what? I'll be triggered in both situations. I'm going to be triggered by going to this solo trip by myself that I plan, that I just do me. And I'm also going to be triggered if I show up to these events and feel like I'm not spending time with friends that are mine. But I'm also spending time with somebody that I really enjoy being around and that I do really like. And it's going to be triggering to know that I'm there in a public setting with a girl at a club. I like to think when I go to the club or these events, I like to be single. My avoidant ass doesn't like to have somebody. Just to keep it real. So it's weird to feel like I could live this free, full life. Also, that's a scary part too, as an avoidant, is like thinking that you can live this free, full life, like go do these things. Like for me to go to this solo trip and for her to just be like, okay, that's fine. Like go enjoy it. She's showing me that she trusts me too. And I know that she's scared too. I know she's scared of me abandoning her because I've made it feel like that for her the entire time. But she is willing to be in it. And I think that's the key. For two people to really be in a relationship, you both have to overcome the fear of abandonment. Both of you need to be prepared to feel like you're going to be abandoned and stay. And you don't leave. And you don't run away. Or you don't cling on super fucking hard. You let go, right? Because again, let's say I tell her that I'm going to go take this solo trip out of nowhere when she's invited me to two things. How would that make you feel as an anxious person? Oh, he doesn't really like me. Why does he want to go hang out by himself instead of with me and my friends and do my things, right? And then most anxious girls would probably be like, oh, like that's weird. I don't know how I feel about that, right? You might have some second thoughts and be like, what is he going there for without me? And why didn't he invite me? And that's also true as well. If I'm really analyzing it right here, it's like, yeah, why didn't I tell her to come with me? Because guess what? I think inadvertently I am creating distance. But but to be honest, I think part of it is also me discovering what I want and doing what I want. It doesn't mean that I don't care about this person. It's something for me to explore myself and explore a new place and to get out of my routine. And as much as I would love to do these things with her and see these people, I'm from here. I know what's going to happen. I've been to Maya a million times. A house party, yeah, it would be fun, I'm sure. But I can do this. I can go to the beach. I can go read my book. I can go meditate. I can go to the coffee shop. I can go meet new people. And guess what? She could do the same thing. And that's what having a secure relationship is all about. And being a secure person is all about. Is like stop controlling anything. Stop trying to control. I don't need to control whether or not, again, she's going to do whatever she wants. And the crazy part is when you stop controlling it, that's when you receive all the energy that you want. When I show up and I post a video that I know is just genuinely authentic, like I posted one about me and 2 towels today, and I posted it not because I thought it was that amazing. I just posted it because I was like, you know what? This is something I wouldn't post because it doesn't feel safe. It's me in like a towel. I don't look perfect. I don't have my hair done. I'm just talking. It's bullshit. And what's funny is I looked at the comments and people are commenting back and it's like, it's crazy how energetically people can feel that from you when you're just being you. So that's what I'm realizing and I'm breaking down this insecure attachment. And this is what it is. It's learning to live like overcoming the fear of abandonment. It's overcoming the fear that you need to control the other person or control anything. All you need to do is be so in tune and in touch with yourself and your inner motivations for what you want and what you want to do. And you need to share that and share it fucking loudly and shout it. Tell the people around you, tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your partner, tell your audience. Show up, be you exactly as you are. Stop trying to control every little thing. Because that's where the growth is. That's where the nuggets are. Because you're allowing yourself to, emerge and be uncomfortable. I think it's uncomfortable for me to commit myself to this girl. I think it's uncomfortable for me to get into my car and do a solo trip and just explore a new area for no fucking reason. It's uncomfortable. It's so much easier for me in my routine and be recluse and stop trying to hit people up and stop trying to expand myself. I know what I want. You know what you want. You could receive the things that you want, but you got to trust your inner feelings. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's not about controlling the outcome of it. I'm not trying to control that outcome. I'm just trying to embody what I feel. I'm just trying to share what I feel. And I know that it's going to lead me to the things that I really want because I'm doing what I want. I'm doing what I feel. But I'm also being cognizant that sometimes what I feel or what I think can also be fear, right? So for instance, when I was reacting to the information about her sleeping with somebody else, that was initially I was in my head. Initially I was like, let me create some distance. Let me say, fuck this. Let me just, you know what? I'm going to keep her right here. If I don't actually commit to her or give her any energy, then I'm good, right? I'm controlling the situation. I'm controlling it by not committing myself or leaning back into the relationship. I'm controlling it by keeping it at the distance that I like it. Because that feels safer to me. Because then I can go do my thing, talk to whoever I want, and she could do whatever she wants, and I don't give a fuck. That's what I'll say to myself. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. That's bullshit. The truth is I'm scared of getting hurt. The truth is I'm scared of if I went to all these events with her and her friends that I'm neglecting myself, that I'm not worthy, or that, like I don't want to intrude on you and your life, to be real. But the truth is like I'm not an intruder. I'm being invited. Trust that. And for a lot of people that are avoidant, when people reach out to you or ask you to do something or whatever, and your immediate thought is to hermit up in a shell, it's like, say yes. Say yes. Do the things. Take the solo trip. I mean, I'm going to tell you guys how I feel from this trip that I'm about to take. I'm going to see what I can explore within my own mind, within my own body, between the people I meet. Is it going to be better than what I'm doing right now? Maybe it's going to be. Maybe I realize I want to move. Maybe I realize that the life I have here is not supporting what I really want over the long term. maybe I go over there and I realize, oh shit, actually, wow, I really miss this person. And I realize that this is home for me and that she's home for me. And whatever's supposed to happen is going to happen. And I'm going to stop trying to control everything. Because the truth is like, yeah, this all comes from childhood. Like as a kid, like feeling like, yeah, like I just abandoned and unsupported. And it's funny because I have those same feelings right now because I've done the same things as I did as a kid, which is like, I felt I wasn't going to get the energy that I wanted. So what did I do? I like kept to myself. You know, I walked away. I went into my room. I shut the door. I hung out by myself. But it was a defense mechanism. It was a defense mechanism for the love that I actually really wanted. I didn't want to be alone as a kid. I did that as a defense mechanism so I didn't get hurt. So I didn't put myself in danger of like asking my dad to pick me up for my basketball game and him not showing up. Or asking my mom to be there, but she's too busy at work. So instead, what did I do? I just learned to live and be on my own. That's what an avoidant is. You have learned to create the box. You have learned to control the environment so that you don't get hurt. This is why you're so rigid. This is why you have such a strict routine. Is because you are trying to control not getting hurt so bad that you have built up walls upon walls upon walls. But again, there's the thing that you genuinely want underneath, you are not going to receive that way. I can't receive the beautiful life that I want if I'm sitting in my room, if I'm sitting in my house. I can't receive the beautiful relationship that I want by not taking a chance, by not turning around and telling this girl that I care about her. And that was the one thing I wanted to bring up is like the little thing that I was talking about at the beginning of this podcast. After we had this giant conversation about me traveling, her and this guy, me being short with her, you know, all this kind of stuff, I texted her the next day. And I swear to God, and I swear on everything, and I'll tell you something. For instance, yesterday I sent her this message after we had gotten to the fight, right? And I realized that I was being a little reactive and short. I sent her this message. And I'll tell you something. This shit was so fucking hard for me to send. And because why? Because it's fucking vulnerable and it's scary. And it's not even that big of a deal. I said, hey, I know the last 24 hours have been a little uneasy. I appreciate you being honest with me. That is really important to me. I was reactionary and short, and I am sorry for that. I want you to know that I care about you a lot and that I really love our ability to come together and have these conversations. I said, hope you're having a great day, even though you got a late start. And what's crazy as fuck is in my body. Do you know how hard it was for me to type that message and send it? A little message like that. But that's how you know you're avoidant as fuck, that you can't tell people how you feel. I'm afraid to tell this girl how I feel. Or to say sorry, to apologize, because I don't want to look weak. I don't want to look needy. I don't want to look like I need you, quote unquote. And that's the whole thing with an avoidant person, is you just don't want to look like you care because you're scared to look like you care and not get it in return. But there's no love there. There's no love in protection. Love is about vulnerability. It's about openness, about taking the risk. It's about having the ability. And I told one of my clients this yesterday. I was like, it's not about controlling the result of getting them to like you. Imagine, I told her, imagine telling somebody that you love them, even if you didn't know how they felt, even if you didn't know the answer. That is strength. That is vulnerability. That is living in the gray area. That is living without trying to control anything. And it's just being, and it's just existing. That's true. That's real. It's real when you're not trying to control the outcome. And for a lot of us, that's what it is. We're just so fucking scared that we try to control the outcome and we lose all vulnerability. We lose all ability to truly be ourselves, and then we put ourselves into a hole. Right? We lock the box hard. Because love is scary. And Yeah, it's very hard to take the risk. And especially in a world where a lot of people, we're all scared of it. It's like, most of the relationships I ever coach, that's all it is. It's fear versus fear. It's running away. It's clinging. It's controlling. It's just trying to control each other. It's just, honestly, it's just trying to control yourself so that you don't get hurt. That's it for everybody. I'm telling you, that's what it is. The deep down motivations behind all the actions that you have, I can guarantee you come down to either you not feeling like you're enough or you feeling like you're going to get abandoned. Swear to God. You get to the root of a lot of the things that you do, whether or not you took 4 hours to send that text message, whether or not you're snooping their Instagram following, whether or not you see what I'm saying? All these little things, looking through their phone or not telling them a truth about how you feel. All of that is an attempt to control you not getting hurt or abandoned. The reason that you go to the gym or have the routine that you have or to do the things that you have is so that you don't get triggered and that you control the entire environment so nothing disappoints you. Break the bubble. Let go of control. Do things that make you uncomfortable. Do things that make you triggered. Because that's where the growth is. All right. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. And yeah, if you ever want to work with me, you know where to find me. So.